So here's the big topic that I thought this game was so interesting because of Mac. I
Yeah.
mean, it was the Saints, and the Saints suck. Sorry, New Orleans, but they do. And they won by the Niners won by 5. It wasn't really their A team. So I don't know how much you could really take from the game. They won a game they're supposed to win. But Mac Jones was interesting. I don't know what you expected from him. What did he meet your expectations? Did he exceed your expectations? And how would you sort of compare and contrast him to Brock? Like, how did the offense look different with Mac out there?
I was expecting Mac to be running for his life and to really
Yep.
struggle potentially, because I thought there was, behind this line that, got Brock Purdy hit 8 times. Mac's not nearly as mobile, but I thought the offensive line did a pretty nice job. I mean, there were several times they really held up for more than a few seconds. I also like the fact that Mac had that 13-yard scramble was that in the first half on the
Yeah.
first score. I don't think that was a great run by him. So, I'll tell you the one thing that I'm impressed. There's 2 things that impressed me about Mac. When he told us before training camp that he practiced in the heat of July, trying to learn the playbook in his pads by
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah.
Now, if that's a true story, that's dedication to put on pads by yourself in sweaty Jacksonville in July and try to go out there in the field. And, so I thought that was impressive. And then I'm very impressed by how there's a lot of footwork that you have to have down to run the short game, the quick game, and all the stuff around the line of scrimmage, the hitches and the boots and all the stuff that the Niners love to do with Brock Purdy. They're not going to change the offense for Mac Jones. So it was incumbent on Mac Jones, Grant, to get his footwork up to speed. And I think his footwork has been better than Darnold's. I don't think Darnold worked at his footwork nearly like Jones. I thought I counted at least 4 plays yesterday where if Mac's footwork is wrong, he's not completing the pass, and yet his footwork is on point. So this guy's put in the time. I think he knows, Grant, that if he sucks here, he's done as a starting quarterback. If you can't start on this San Francisco team with all these weapons and Kyle Shanahan, nobody's going to ever give you a starting job again. So he's playing like his career is in the balance. There's a sobering reality to the way he's playing, and I think he wants it. I think he's going to succeed here. I'm not surprised that he did well. I thought he would do well in this game, but I was a little surprised he came out throwing. But I love his footwork, and I think he's a good fit in this offense.
I loved the confidence that Kyle Shanahan showed in Mac by calling not just 39 passes, but 45 dropbacks. There were 6 scrambles in there. That's something that Kyle doesn't do very much for his quarterbacks. And if he does it, it means he really believes in you. And I think that Mac Jones showed why. Kyle believes in him, showed why Kyle probably wanted him 4 years ago in the draft. And I think, like you, I expected him to be harassed, to be slow, to get sacked a lot. And he did get sacked 3 times and fumble once. But I'm looking at some stats here. This is from Akash, who does a great job. He said that Mac Jones' average time to throw held onto the ball for an average of 2.81 seconds in this game. Now, in comparison, 2022 Brock, he average time to throw for Brock Purdy in 2022, 2.84. 2023, it went to 2.88. 2024, it went up to 2.93. And then through a game this year, it was 3.05. So slowly over time, Brock has been holding the ball longer and longer, while Mac Jones doesn't really play that way because he's not a playmaker. He doesn't scramble. It seems like Brock maybe falling in love with that part of his game a little bit more, or you could argue that it's necessary because the protection is breaking down. But then with Mac out there, he's playing a different way. I think this might bring out the best in Brock because I think he needs to tap back into his inner Drew Brees and not embrace his inner Russell Wilson so much.
I think you're making a really good point. The point, I think, that where they're similar, and Shanahan even said it, I think maybe earlier this week in one of the pressers. He's like, they're both really good ball distributors. And that's kind of what Brock was initially. But now he's evolved from that to, hey, more of a playmaker. Run around and this and that. Yeah. And I think, there's that old saying, you can't go broke making a profit. Mm-hmm. And there was 4 or 5 plays yesterday you can count where Mac Jones was like, there's nothing. Oh, and then Mac completed it for 4 yards. Well, guess what? That keeps you ahead of the chains. So I think Brock is holding the ball to try to make more plays, to try to extend plays, partly for the touchdown that he threw to Tongas,
Yes.
because Brock can extend plays and he can run around and he can break you down the way Russell Wilson used to. And I think that's an advantage that he and only he has, really, between these two. But I think you're right. I think if he watches Mac Jones play on time and in rhythm and be more of that distributor, I think that will motivate Brock to get the ball out of his hands in rhythm. I think that's what we're really talking about. It's about rhythm. And there's times I thought Brock's rhythm last year wasn't nearly as good. And then I think also when you run as much as he did last year, your risk reward, dial gets altered a little bit. And I thought it was perfect his first 2 years. So I like that Mac Jones is going to be a distributor and get the ball out quick. And I think it will show Brock that, you know what, that might be just the way to go. Just get it out of your hands. You got a whole room full of playmakers. And 2, 3, 4 weeks from now, maybe more like 6 or 8, you're going to have Ayuk, you're going to have Robinson, you're going to have Kittle, you're going to have, you're going to have a room full of nice top tier weapons, and getting the ball out quickly and into their hands is probably going to be the motivation or the name of the game. So maybe Mac to some degree is kind of showing Brock how great you can be in this offense if you're just committed to be a distributor.
To me, it seemed like you said, Brock had this down when he first got on the field. He wasn't trying to extend plays as much. And I think he had so much success early on, and it blew people's mind, like me, that people were saying, well, he's a system quarterback. These guys are wide open. The players are incredible. This is quarterbacking on easy. It's just the system. And he hears that, and he wanted to, establish himself as an elite quarterback, get a $265 million contract. And I think he is sort of self-conscious in that sense. Like, well, what do I have to do to prove that I'm elite? Oh, I have to play like Josh Allen. All right, I can play like Josh Allen. And he can to a degree. Like, he does have this whole improvisational flair that's fun to watch. But it seems like he's really trying to prove that he's one of these guys when it's like, man, you could just play like Mac Jones, win a lot of games, make a lot of money, have great stats. You don't have to prove that you're someone you're not. Because when you do try to run around like Josh Allen, you get hurt. Josh hurts people. You are 6 feet. You're my size. You shouldn't play like that. I'm just saying.
I would just say, hey, if I was talking to him, I would say, hey, look, let's simplify, guys. Let's just process and distribute. Process and distribute. Process what they're giving you. Take what the defense is giving you. Get the ball out of your hands. Establish a rhythm. I mean, I like the game one a little bit more than game two. From the standpoint of, I like the 49ers as a team better when they dominate the time of possession and Bosa and Huff are gassed up in the fourth quarter. Because I think if you get a gassed up Bosa and Huff off the edges, or a gassed up pass rush, foursome with Gross Matos and Mikel, who had a great game, I think that's going to be a force. That's going to be a finishing force for the Niners. So, to me, if they can play more complementary football, dominate the time of possession, run the ball a little bit more, but that's what I would prefer. But I was encouraged to see Mac throwing it for sure.
PrizePicks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, you'll get $50 for playing. Use promo code COHN, COHN, and download the app now. It seemed like both Mac and Brock, at least this season, had done a good job on third down, moving the chains by any means necessary. Brock can do it with his legs and extending plays. He's so similar to young Russell Wilson. What I like about Mac, for a pocket quarterback who doesn't move that much, if it's 3rd and 14, he's throwing a 15-yard pass. He's not checking it down on 3rd and 14 and hoping. Like, he made some really nice throws on 3rd and long yesterday to move the chains. I mean, that's, to me, the mark of a starting quarterback. I guess that was my other takeaway from this game. He's a starter. He's a starter. He's been on some terrible teams, and that was one of the better signings in the league this year. He's making $4 million a year to play starting caliber quarterback and be your backup. It's nice.
It's truly unbelievable. And this is the advantage. Basically Darnold gave the 49ers a huge favor, did the Niners a huge favor by how often he talked up Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan. And then, did Darnold look good with the Niners? No, he started one game and he lost to Carson Wentz at home,
Yeah.
and he took a terrible sack on the goal line late, and he looked very much like Sam Darnold, but somehow he still got broken off. He still got paid in free agency, and this whole message of, hey, man, go to San Francisco. Look what they did for Darnold. And he talked up Purdy more than he talked up Shanahan. I just think that Jones, and I mentioned this before today. Jones, the smartest move the Niners did was not signing Jones. The smartest move the Niners did was signing Jones to a 2-year deal. Because if Mac Jones is forced to play, I don't know, 5 or 6 games this year, and let's say goes 5-0 or 5-1 or something like that, the Niners are going to have attractive trade offers for him in the offseason. Right now, they were looking at him when he was kind of like, you got to save your career. Are you really an NFL quarterback? They're going to show that he is an NFL quarterback, and and one that's got a really cheap, affordable $7 million price tag or whatever it is. And I think there's going to be, the Niners are going to have to resist the urgency to hold on to him, or he wants to start someday. But he's a luxury item right now. But I think someone's going to offer them a day 2 pick. I really think they'll get a day 2 pick or more for Mac Jones when they go to trade him. And I think they'll do a trade market for him.
I think Mac is loving being on the Niners right now. He knows what it's like to be on terrible organizations. And right now, all that's happening is his stock is going up. The Niners are like quarterback rehab. Like, oh, you went to a bad organization, you had some traumatic experiences, and your career is on, life support. Come to the 49ers. You may not play that much, but you'll learn Kyle Shanahan's system. It's a system that like 14 teams use. You'll be instantly employable. It's like football boot camp. All of a sudden you're ready to go. So it worked for Darnold. Mac Jones sees that it's going to work for him. This could be instructive to the Niners. If it doesn't work out, paying Brock Purdy $53 million a year, don't ever try to trade up for another quarterback like Trey Lance again. Don't go after the draft. You can take guys in round 7, but you have a little formula here. You can take these guys who were top 10 picks and were, completely mismanaged by their original team or a couple of teams, bring them over here, sign up for $3-4 million, and get that top level talent that the other teams couldn't unlock. You've done it a couple of times now. That's quite a cheat code that most freaking teams can't do. Something to think about.
Well, and
it's working for the Colts and Daniel Jones.
When he came out of Alabama, there was that long article about him, and I think he came across as kind of like a partier and then kind of a bad body guy, and maybe a guy who was elevated by Bama, and was he really even NFL? And there were just kind of people that were all over the map on his evaluation. And now I think it's pretty obvious that, he's even though he doesn't necessarily verbally sound like a really bright guy, he's very football smart. He's very dedicated to his craft. He plays on time. If you said to me, what was the most challenging moment of the summer for the 49ers, I would tell you it was day 1 against Denver in Santa Clara in that joint practice. And Grant, I don't remember if you remember it, but I remember it very clearly. Mac Jones was worlds better than Brock Purdy on that day. I'm not trying to establish any kind of quarterback controversy. I'm not saying anything. I'm just telling you the facts. That day, Brock Purdy, and I don't remember, you guys kept the numbers, but it was like 15 of 35, or it wasn't good. It wasn't good. Yeah. It was like 16 for 32 or something.
It started off really rough. Yeah.
And Mac Jones completed a high percentage like he had all summer. So I don't know what to make of that, other than that was an eye-opener to me that, hey, you know what? Maybe Mac Jones is a little bit better than we think. And I also thought he wasn't going to fit in here, but he has fit in incredibly well. And I think it's because he's got a good sense of humor. He can laugh at himself, but he works. He's a worker. He's put himself through the mental reps. He really looks like he's been in this offense for a number of years. He does not look like a neophyte in this offense. And if you look at his career, 56 touchdowns and 7 picks at Bama. Pro Bowler as a rookie with New England, and then all of a sudden he looks up, it's Matt Patricia is his OC, and the next
Yeah.
year it's Bill O'Brien, and they have no weapons at all. The next year he's backing up Trevor Lawrence. So his career has taken kind of a 3-year detour through hell. But you know what? The guy was good as a rookie, and he looked good yesterday.
He's one of the guys. He
He is
does a
one of the guys.
really good job. When he came out, I didn't think he'd be a leader in the NFL. Like, this guy's a little weird, but no, he's authentic. He's
He's
funny. He's
authentic.
self-deprecating, and he like really makes the effort to have relationships with all kind of different people. Did you notice that he was one of the first guys coming down the tunnel with the next to Trent in the boombox? Like, he was dancing and singing. I mean, no offense to Brock, but you would never, ever, ever see Brock do that. Brock is very buttoned up. He dresses like a math teacher. He's very serious. I don't know that he has a sense of humor. It must be kind of refreshing to look at Mac as like, man, this is no type of NFL quarterback I'm used to. And yet, he's a confident, freaking cocky, swaggy dude.
You know, it's funny. I think Brock is pretty freaking funny though, because Feliciano said, "Dude, Purdy does the most ridiculous impressions, and he cracks people up." So I got to ask Brock about that.
You think he can do a Kyle Shanahan impression? I wish. Give us a
That would be
Kyle
epic.
impression. Come on, you make more money than him. You can do it. You can do it.
That would be epic. I mean, I don't know if we could, Niner PR would literally, they would storm the podium and not let him answer that. I mean, I don't think they would, but yeah, no, I think you're right though about Mac. I think that he's, I was joking on Twitter today, I retweeted that boombox thing. I'm like instead of swaggy P, swaggy Mac. But yeah, he's got some swag. He's got some juice. He's got some life. He's kind of likable. I don't know about you, Grant, but we talked to all the players at the podium. Every time Mac has popped in there, I leave walking away going, I like that guy. I think that guy's funny. I think the things that he says are interesting and funny. And he's laugh.
Not a BS artist. He's not a BS artist. Like, he tells you the truth. He was like, look, I didn't play well at the beginning of the game. I was nervous. That's an issue of mine. I've been working on breath control. It's like, what professional athlete ever admits to being nervous ever?
I know.
It's endearing.
Like
and he's not
I like the attitude.
It's not like he's taking
credit
credit for stuff, for saying like, Jesus put me in this position and I'm so blessed. It's just like, I'm doing the best I can. You really should give the credit to my teammates and my coaches. Hard not to like a guy like that. Not that, and again, I said that Brock might not have a sense of humor. He probably does. He's just so curated in front of the press. He's a legit franchise quarterback, and he carries himself that way. Mac does not, and it's kind of nice.
I think Brock is the kind of guy you want your daughter to marry. I think Mac is the kind of guy you want to invite to your guy's road trip.
Yes.
Mac is the guy
Brock would be like, hey man, can we turn this music off? Can we put on some gospel?
Brock,
it's like, man,
Brock,
can we no?
Brock will give you that suggestion that keeps you out of jail. Mac will be the guy that hangs upside down in beer bongs.
But it's like he's not Johnny Manziel though. It's like he knows when to do that and when to lock in and be serious. And I think if he was a clown, none of his teammates would respect him. But he's not a clown. He's I don't know. Anyway,
he's a competitor.
And I think he thinks he's better than Brock. And I think it's good for Brock to have a backup who thinks he's better than him, because Brandon Allen didn't.
Yeah, that's why I've been saying all offseason, I really think this is the underrated move, getting Mac, because signing Brock, there was always the chance that you would get a guy who either believed his own press clippings, though I didn't think that would be the case, or just was trying to live up to this massive contract and was in his head a little bit. Having Jones there, I think, resets the whole thing, and Brock is just like, hell, if that guy. I bet you Brock Purdy's injury healed tremendously during that game.
I agree.
Healed tremendously.
Another thing that people just can't. I mean, we all love Brock Purdy's story. I kind of like Mac's story, because Mac got humbled. He was a first-round pick. He was doing the 100 mil, went to Alabama, and then he learned how cruel the NFL world could be, and he was pretty much on the way out. So I think it's easy to pull for someone to like pull their career together. Where with Brock, it's also easy to pull for Mr. Irrelevant, but he hasn't really been humbled yet. And everyone does in life. You have been, I have been, he will be, Mac has been. It's kind of interesting to be like, well, Mac's kind of the underdog now. I kind of like Mac. Anyway, they've both been underdogs at times.
I think the Niners are in a great spot. I think they're in an absolutely great spot. And especially because you get the feeling that Mac and Brock, or even though they're trying to get the same thing, that they're going to get along. It's like, I think Brock, gets the respect because of his preparation. And I think Mac seems like a guy that understands where he is in his career. Has anybody had a tougher road than Mac Jones? You're replacing Tom Brady. You're working for Bill Belichick, and he takes his defensive buddy in Matt Patricia and he makes him your fucking offensive coordinator.
That was
what?
weak.
And then you're in the media market like Boston on the tail end of their dynasty. You don't think there were some stats about, well, Jones versus Brady? And I don't remember there ever being like some kind of screw up where he stepped in it and all the Boston media was just crushing him. So he dealt with the media firestorm of that. He dealt with the decline of the Patriots. He dealt with being kicked to Jacksonville and basically being banished. And this was the first time in his life that he's actually, since college, that he's been able to say, you know what? I want to play there. Here's my career. I've got it in my own hands and I'm going to put it here. And I think he made a great decision. He probably could have gotten $1 million or more from somebody else. But you know what? He's like, hey, look what Brock Purdy's process did for Darnold. Look what this offense did for Darnold. Look at what Darnold has. I personally think, and I've always thought this, I think this guy's better than Darnold. Darnold's a bigger guy, better athlete, a little bit more stronger arm. But I think Jones is the more accurate player. He's the smarter player. He's the better processor. I think he's a better player than Darnold.
If Darnold could get the 3-year, $100 million contract, Mac Jones could get the 3-year, $100 million contract in a couple of years. And the Niners got him for $4 million a year right now. That's just good team building. Joseph Ernberg thinks he's better because he is better. F Brock. Man, you
Ernberg, very
not
negative.
Like Brock. Why F Brock? What did Brock do? I like Brock. What's
Ernberg? Brock, I mean, come on. Brock was Mr. Irrelevant, and he went to a Super Bowl with him, and he's been, pretty much lifted this team up by himself at times, and you're going to crush him because Mac Jones has one good game?
I understand why fans were kind of like, didn't like Jimmy, because you always kind of question, how dedicated are you, man? How come your coaches talk to the press about how they can't get you to call them back in the offseason? Like, that's not okay. But Brock's not like that. Deshaun DeVos says, is it me or does Mac look more like Drew Brees than Bro, since that's who they believe brought to be?
Is it me or does Mac look more like
Hugh Brees? I think he talked to text that one. Maybe one of the reasons that Mac was so good in this game was because it was indoors. I don't know.
It's just part of the country that he's comfortable in, right? I mean, this is, New Orleans. I mean, he's played at Bama, maybe coming back here in this humid weather. And I just think he's simplifying things, Grant. I think he just understands. It's like, hey, I'm just gonna run Kyle's plays and distribute the football. And as long as he doesn't turn it over in mass, they're going to be great.
And it's interesting again, because Brock is way beyond this. It's not enough for Brock to execute. Brock has to show that he's worth the contract. And that's a dangerous place to be. I think it's good for him that Mac is here playing the way Brock used to play. Larry, it is time for us to enjoy one last night in New Orleans. You got any special plans?
Nothing special other than Kevin and I are going to go hit some place and watch the Chargers and Raiders. Nice. We have a really, really, really early flight, like 5 a.m. early. So we'll be probably doing the New Orleans thing. Night. We're going to stay up all night and just go to the airport at like 2 or 3, So
nice. Well, I'll catch you guys.
We're going out with a bang, man. We're going out with a
bang. That'll be fun. Thanks everyone for watching. Real quick, Joseph Ernberg says Brock's weak arm makes him irrelevant on this team. On that note, thank you very much, Joseph, and everyone for watching. Brock, if you're watching, I can't control Joseph. He's his own guy. So it's Ernberg.